Jace had a beautiful smile. He was my oldest son. He was full of life. He was very energetic. He was very bright. Jace loved the outdoors. He loved to hunt and fish, and he grew up on a farm, so we spent a lot of time outdoors. He loved baseball most of all, and he started playing baseball from the age of 5 all the way up through his freshman year in college. And while he was a senior, he was playing for his varsity team. He was a pitcher, and they were having a practice where they were swinging the bat as hard as they could to hit the ball over the fence, and he cracked his back and his vertebrae, yes. And so the doctors prescribed physical therapy and Loratab, and we thought nothing of it at the time. We did both. So he took the physical therapy and the Loratab. What we did know was that he began to abuse the medication later. I never noticed the symptoms until I got a phone call from a young lady when he was in college that was very angry, so she snitched. That was the call. And that's when I picked my jaw up off the floor. And so then she began to tell me all this bad stuff. Well, come to find out that Jace was truly using and actually dealing on campus also. And so we got him home, but he did not want help. He says, I am not going to sit in a group of those people and talk about my life. And I said, so we tried to put our heads together and think. And so what we did, we said, well, what about private counseling? And he agreed to that. I did not know that drug addiction was a disease. Early on, let's say like that was in 2007 or 8, I thought it was a moral issue, like everyone else, or like most people. And I thought I had failed as a parent. And so I knew I loved Jace very much, and I wanted to help him, but I wanted to help our family, but I didn't know how. And so thinking that it was Jace wanting to be different from his family and get away from the structure and the rules and be independent, he wanted to experiment with all that was out there, and so this is what he did. And so I just needed to reshape that for him. Needed to get him back in the fold, back away from the partying and where that was going to carry him. I didn't realize that it was a disease. I didn't do any studying. I didn't do any research. You understand, at that time, I was the only person that I knew that had a child that was using drugs. Because I spent the first, I would say, 10 years of dealing with Jace, with him in and out of jail, in and out of treatment center, relapsing, not understanding, and just be frustrated and be angry and enabling, paying his bills. Okay, if I just get him set him up with rent and back into school and this, he will do better. And he would tell me, Mom, I need purpose in my life. Okay, so let's get a job. Well, he couldn't keep a job. And so all of that was me paying for things for him to do. And I don't want him to go to jail, so I bail him out. Those were the enabling things that I did that I thought was saving my son, when basically what I was doing was pushing him closer to death. So the last couple of years, Jace began to talk with me about how much he hated what was happening to him, and that he did not use to get high. He used just to survive and get up the next morning. And when he began to share with me those kind of feelings and those letters to me, I began to realize that he had no control. He didn't want this any more than I did. And he just didn't know how to get out of it. And so that's when I began to realize that this is different. This is not a moral problem. This is definitely something wrong with him physically or mentally. I wish I had known for sure and confident that addiction was a disease, and I would have handled it as such. I wish I had known the resources that were out there that I could have gotten to earlier that would have been able to help Jace earlier, so he would have learned how to handle his disease better and it would have resorted to an overdose that killed him.